What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another SimpleMMO Weekly Guild Stats Update. I am your host, CrazyFi, aka PapaFi, aka Alan. Today we'll be covering the week of 5 through 12 November of 2023. That about covers it, so let's actually just hop in the details now. Let's get right into this business. So here we have the first slide. It's our guild details. If we zoom into the newly active guilds, you'll see we have a total of 12 brand spanking new, newly active guilds for this week. Some of these are interesting, and there's a bit of a history and a story behind some of them, and we'll get to that. But let's talk about the top one here, Shadow Garden, led by Arlo. Awesome job by them. They already have 109 members for their guild, which is insane for a new guild. So congrats to Arlo, obviously recruiting really hard. And that clearly, that's a guild that's going to be around for a while. They're going to be around for a long while, if I'm being honest. With 109 members, they're going to keep getting membership going and cranking out. So props to Arlo on that one. Then we have Shadow Wizard Money Government, led by Shadow Wizard Money Gang. Now, if you might be wondering, wait, just down below, there's a Shadow Wizard Money Gang guild, and it's not led by Shadow Wizard Money Gang, the player. Why is that? Well, I had to ask the same exact question because Shadow Wizard Money Gang actually showed up to one of our streams recently. So I DM'd him in game. I was like, hey, man, is there a story behind Shadow Wizard Money Gang, the guild, versus Shadow Wizard Money Government? And he informed me that, unfortunately, someone saw their name, Shadow Wizard Money Gang, and said they were going to make a guild with it. And he thought they were joking at first, but they weren't. So he had to go and make his own guild now because he wanted to make Shadow Wizard Money Gang, but now it's taken, obviously, by what seems to be the troll named Isaac Bourne. And then so Shadow Wizard Money Gang, the player, has now made Shadow Wizard Money Government the guild. And then he went on, I was like, wow, that's such a troll. He went on to say, he's like, everyone needs a good rival, I guess. But if that's the case, if Shadow Wizard Money Gang, the guild, is a rival to Shadow Wizard Money Government, clearly Shadow Wizard Money Government is doing a lot better than Shadow Wizard Money Gang, the guild, because Shadow Wizard Money Government has 32 members versus Shadow Wizard Money Gang's, the guild's 2 members. Did that get a little confusing for you? I hope you stayed with me on that one, the back and forth between gang and government. But yeah, 32 members for Shadow Wizard Money Gang, the player, and his guild, Shadow Wizard Money Government. Props to him or her, whoever they are, doing an awesome job. Hopefully they stay strong and keep the recruiting going. It's just, honestly, it's a great name too. Shadow Wizard Money Government, even though it can't be Shadow Wizard Money Gang, it's a great guild name. So congrats to them. Then you got Pinoy Hunter. I think that's how you say it. I'm not exactly sure. Led by Kazumo. I'm going to butcher everyone's names, apparently. They have 32 members, so that's awesome to see. And then the last guild that has 10 or more members, right on the cut here, is Burger No Honey Mustard, which is another great guild name, led by Young Lamb Sauce, which is an amazing player name. Like, I'm just really enjoying a lot of these names, whether it's the guild name or the player name, like Astral Echo, Step 2 Damnation by Fuglier. I'm surprised that was allowed in the game. Black Phantoms, and then a Dragon Bone Soup, led by Book Mongrel. All just around some pretty creative names. It's great to see that we have 12 newly active guilds. Great to see. It's good for the economy. Like I'm a finance person. Excuse me. It's good for the ecosystem of SimpleMMO. So it's good to see all around. It's just good. You know what? It is good. Good is good, right? Okay. Let's move on. Let's talk about the deleted guilds for the week here. We have 2 deleted guilds. Now, I will tell you, this is actually kind of sad, even though it is only 2. Of course, let's talk about the bottom one first. Purgatory. Haven't really seen them around. Don't know if they were an active guild or if they were just old and had a old member count. But either way, it is sad to see that such a high member count, high being 22, relatively speaking, disappear, and then the guild leader hasn't found a home yet. But the top guild here, this Jiboku, this guild led by Laplace. This one's a sad one to see. If you've been watching the weekly guild stats and even our seasonal guild leaderboard updates, you'll know that Jiboku has been in both. They're normally around a 5 through 10th place position on the weekly guild stats, and they've been at 20 through 25 positions, somewhere in there for the seasonal guild leaderboards. And to see a strong PvE guild disappear like this really sucks. So I hope Laplace and all the other members find a new place, a new home, haha, knee slapper, in the ecosystem of SimpleMMO and the guild ecosystem. It's sad to see what was such a strong, active guild disappear out off of the ecosystem. I don't know why I'm stuck on ecosystem today, but you know what? We're going on a journey, so stick with me here about it. All right, let's move on to the next bit. We're going to talk about the actual dashboard itself. This is our dashboard again, 5 through 12 November of 2023, just to keep you on track, keep you updated on what we're talking about so you understand. There's no confusion. We have a total of 678 total active guilds since April of 2021 when version 9.0, the guild update, came out. That means they've earned some type of EXP as a guild. 91 weekly active guilds, which is awesome to see. We love seeing a high number like this. You know, even it seems like the Halloween event has carried on a strong amount of players playing the game currently, because 91 weekly active guilds, and then you even if you go on the server on the homepage, it'll tell you like, oh, it's busier than normal or whatever. There are more players currently playing this game right now than there were before the Halloween event. So clearly the Halloween event did something right. Moving on though, out of the 678, 361 are PvE only guilds, and then a total of 317 PvP enabled guilds. Now let's talk about the top 10 PvP here. Babel holding out strong in the first place with 24 mil. Then you have TSL 14 mil. They've slowed down the grind a little bit, but 14 mil is still really impressive. Clearly considering it's the second place guild overall to include PvE, which we'll cover in a second. But it's not the 24 mil. They're not keeping up with Babel, so there'll be consequences when it comes to the seasonal guild leaderboard, which we'll update during our stream. Nice little plug there. But they're still strong. So keep going, TSL. You got this. Then you have the Forest, just hitting that consistent 10 mil. Rain Factory with Sarah leading them with that 8 mil. Nice to say Yi, who came back and are consistent as all hell, sitting at that 7 mil. Wolf Blood, Golden Arrows, Old Salts, still sticking around on the leaderboard. And Murder the Universe and Still Friendly are sitting right at the bottom there. So nothing really has changed too much in the top 10 PvP. Pretty consistent, normal guilds that you see coming in and out, or just staying there. But let's talk about the top 10 PvE guilds now, because this one's interesting, and it just really dawned on me, like, what's going on here, right? Normally, in our top 10 PvE, again, if you've been here for a while, you'll see the Peaceful Crusade, come on now, TPC or the Peaceful Crusade, and Titans, and a couple other older guilds, older PvE guilds, like, Step in the Shadows, though they've disbanded, and they were fairly new-ish, but they're considered old compared to the rest of these guilds. Normally, they're sitting at the top, right? They're sitting at the top, they're sitting pretty, they're dominating the PvE leaderboard. But there's a new regime now. The old regime of PvE guilds is no more. They're barely holding on to the 10th and 9th place position. There's a new regime of PvE guilds starting now. Genesis with 5.6 mil, taking over the first place position since Step in the Shadows disbanded. The Coven coming out strong with 1.8. Markemond, if that's how you pronounce it, they've flip-flopped on the bottom of the PvE weekly leaderboard, and they've been on the seasonal guild leaderboard at the very bottom. But they're here to play strong now. Nightmare Rats, new guild. Wolf, new guild. Shadow Garden, brand new guild. Zealous Zenith Kitties, new guild from last week. The Foundation, again, fairly new. All the first through 8th place positions on the top 10 PvE are all fairly new, or new iterations of an old guild. Whereas TPC and the Titans, that old regime, they're not cutting it anymore. It's sad to see. It is sad to see. To see this growth is great, right? Don't get me wrong. I love to see new guilds. I love to see them come out dominating from the get-go. But it is kind of sad when some of your friends are in the old regime and they're struggling to stay up on the top 10. But either way, congrats to the new regime. May you be consistent and may you dominate the leaderboard week after week. We hope to see you in the seasonal guild leaderboard, which I know we already are, right? Like, it's obvious they're going to be there. Or, we've already covered some of them, to be fair. So that about concludes the weekly guild stats for 5 through 12 November 2023. If you liked the video, if you thought it was informative or just entertaining, go ahead and hit that like button. If you keep coming back, definitely hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. It helps out our channel a lot. And as always, if you want to just trash talk the other guilds, or you want to talk stats with me and data about the guilds, leave a comment down below. And we'll see ya. Till next time.